Ron Musgraves, Pressure Washing Institute contractors. First, good morning, contractors. I teach commercial sales, have been doing it for 42 years. Been doing it to many, many guys in the industry, hundreds and hundreds of guys that have built $1 million businesses. This is one of my larger success stories with unsolicited proposals is a $625,000 unsolicited proposal signed and the deal done, which also grew in over the years into over $1 million contract. So the bottom line is, guys, is stop waiting for people to ask you for a bid. If you're in the commercial zone, there's no reason to wait. There's no reason to wait. And I'm going to go over some of the things of why you don't need to wait. If you're already receiving an RFP, it's already too late. You know, and the funniest thing in the world is guys all the time sit there and go, well, I got this RFP subscription and they're putting out bids for these things. Well, those are internet stuff. Those things are out there, and there's hundreds of guys potentially trying to bid those jobs. If you're having a difficulty with the property management industry and you're wasting your time going, hello, 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 is somebody there? Is somebody going to answer me? Is somebody going to tell me, going to call me back? And then you never get the calls back. Have you once ever thought about sending them a proposal? Just send it to them. Stop waiting for anybody to ask you for a bid. You have to remember these things. The people that you're going to send bids to year after year, this is the other thing too, you're not going to just send them a bid this year. You're going to send them a bid next year and the year after and the year after. I've got a video out there where a woman finally used this after 13 years of continually sending her a bid. And I asked her on the video, what was the reason it took 13 years to use this? She said we were too expensive. And then I asked her, what was the reason you're using us now? She had went through 22 different service contractors in the 13 years, and she was fed up, and she thought she'd just give us a try. After she tried us, she realized that the extra cost that we were was nothing in comparison to the nightmare of going through 22 purveyors over a 13-year time period. That's obviously, you can figure that out. That's more than one a year. I thought she was going to be a problem customer because you think if you go through 22, and she probably was on service again for another 10 or 12 years before she retired. The bottom line is the title of this is Stop Waiting for People to Ask You for a Bid. Yes, stop it. When somebody's asking you for a bid, you're already bidding against 10 companies. The whole purpose of an unsolicited proposal or sending a bid that somebody didn't request, these are reoccurring customers. You're not sending these to one and done customers. You're sending them to reoccurring customers. And a lot of guys out there right now are struggling with finding work, especially in the residential world. And then they want to turn to commercial and they think commercial's fast. This is not a fast game. It can be a fast game, but the problem with it is the customers that are out there, the low-hanging fruit. I joke around with a buddy of mine, Jeff. We talk about restaurants. Restaurants are low-hanging fruit, but the problem with restaurants, even though they need reoccurring service, there's a lot of turnover. Their budgets are derived from the profits of the organization. So if it's not a high volume restaurant, it's not going to have a lot of service. If the budgets, typically if they're not high volume, the budgets are low. So they're going to want to do it for $150, and nobody wants to do that. The type of reoccurring work that I'm talking about are I only search under CAM, Common Area Maintenance. And these agreements are reoccurring. They budget them. There's actual money in the budget. I'm not going to tell you where that money comes from. If you follow me and understand what CAM is, Common Area Maintenance, it's in a triple net lease. You'll understand it. You can go there and look. And I'll tell you what, I give a prize away if somebody not new, I mean somebody that has not been in my program answers the question of why we're searching for CAM and where the money comes from. I'll typically send them a couple of shirts, send them a hat, do something for them. So if you want to chime in below and you believe you understand where CAM money comes from, chime in below and let us know, and I'll send you a shirt. Actually, after you answer the question, go ahead and PM me that you want a shirt. So a lot of guys have trouble with property managers and things, and I want to dispel something also. A commercial property manager does not make profit off of your service, okay? And they don't want to hire the cheap guy. This is their sole existence and job, is to hire purveyors to take care of the property inside the CAM. And they get paid on the rent receipts. It doesn't have anything to do with their actual budget to hire purveyors. They don't get a bonus or a pat on the back to say, hey, I just hired the cheapest guy, I saved us some money. They're liable to lose their job if they're out there doing something like that. And there are managers out there that think, hey, I got to grind and get down to the cheapest guy. And they soon find out they don't have a job themselves, because when they inadvertently hire somebody that's the cheap guy, you know, the chuck in the truck, and they get bad service, the owner of the investment, because these are investments, wind up firing them. And then they learn and they move forward and go, hey man, I don't want to be doing that again, because I don't want to wind up losing my job or get fired from a property. They understand that they have to have a better working relationship with all their service contractors, and they're not hiring the cheapest guy. And when you find out who's actually paying the CAM fees, you'll understand why they're not interested in looking for the cheapest guy. But so I want to dispel that fallacy of the property managers are out there to hire the cheap guy. It's not the case in the majority of them. I'm not telling you that there's not bad managers out there. There are. But the bottom line is that if you put in an unsolicited proposal, you're ahead of the game, you know, and you're getting the call from them. Now, how would that be? You're getting a call from a property manager versus all the calls you leave and say, hey, this is Ron, I want to clean your sidewalks, please call me back. First of all, you'll learn in my teachings that you never say that. You never say that. I'll get a call back. I'll get a call back from somebody almost 90% of the time. And I've just got some tactics that gets the call back. And I'll just give it to you. You can kind of use this in your own mind. Never announce that you're trying to get their business for services. Never announce who you are and what you're doing. Now, if you get them live on the phone, absolutely. But if you're leaving a message, leave the message a little differently. And like I said, if you follow me and take my sales stuff, you'll learn some of the ways to do that so that they do wind up calling you back. The one cool thing, though, about sending an unsolicited proposal, it's the start of a relationship. It's the start of several different things. You're going to find out when they're doing their actual budget time. Usually it's in October. You're going to find out when they do CAM reconciliation. You're going to find out the budget. Sometimes you just find out what the budget is. And then it's about, can you perform inside of that budget for that amount? In other words, if they're asking you to do it for $2 and you need $6, well, then you're probably not going to be able to work with that manager, and that's okay. Pass. It's a pass. And no one's going to be offended. They're not going to be offended. They're going to be thankful that you're not wasting their time. And the last thing you want to do is lower your price. If your margins are set, I always tell guys this too. Everybody argues about, well, the margins are higher in residential, the margins are higher in commercial, and you got these guys arguing about this. That's complete bullshit. The margins are set by you. You set the margins. If I set the margins up here for residential, they're going to be higher than maybe somebody's margins that are in commercial because they didn't set their margins high enough. You control the margins. The industry doesn't control the margins. You set your own margins. So I want to get that out of everybody's head too, because That's absolutely ridiculous to sit there and think that that somebody else sets margins. You set them. Now sometimes budgets don't work out. You know, if it's a $2 budget and you need $6, yeah, that's probably not going to be a manager that you want to work with. But the bottom line is you need to send unsolicited proposal. This is only one of 5 major strategies that I teach, but it is a big one. It is a big one. It's probably equal to another one where we do demos and sample cleaning services for people, because in this process you're trying to develop trust with these people, and if you're trying to develop trust, you've got to do things to earn their trust. That's just a big bottom line of the thing. By the way, I'm going to be teaching live at least 4 different places in the next 8 months. I know one of them is going to be in Phoenix. One of them is going to be in North Carolina. We're going to be doing Chicago in April. We're going to be, a Dallas one just came up in October, actually November. So we're going to be in a couple of different places, and we'll probably be in Austin at a separate event. The PWNA is having an event. We're going to be having an event in Austin around the same time period. Now, some of these events, live events, they're going to be at actual shops. You're going to be able to walk these shops, see actually operating businesses that are doing millions of dollars in work. That's the bottom line in the whole thing. Some of them will be at resorts and hotels and things like that, in meeting rooms when we can't be in. And guess what? There's a lot of buzz going on in the industry about paid events versus free events. These are all free. Everything I do is free. So, and there's no catches or anything like that. A lot of people like to tell that story, but if you ever talk to somebody that ever went to one of my live sales classes, there's no pitch, there's no hang up, there's no selling you anything. I've been doing this for 42 years. And we're bettering the industry one contractor at a time. A lot of guys go, well, why do you do this? Because we want to better the industry. We want guys to understand. We want guys to be able to feed their families. Especially in this type of an atmosphere, people out there need to understand this and know this stuff. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Pick up I challenge you, drive today to a shopping center, a commercial property. Don't worry about if you can't find the ownership. If you send it to the wrong people, they'll give you the ownership. You know, a lot of times guys will send it to the leasing agents. Well, the leasing agents know who the owners are. They know who the property management companies are, because that's who hired them. So they'll actually call you back and give you all that information. So many people get hung up on waiting, thinking that it's got to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get out there and take action, guys. Take action. If you take action on this, you'll learn it. You don't even, to be honest, once you start taking action, you don't even need me to teach you. You will understand it. You will start it'll unfold right in front of your eyes, and you'll go, wow, he's right. These people are just waiting for us to give them a proposal. And I was sitting there on my heels waiting for them to call me. Stop waiting for them to ask you for a bid and just give it to them. You can send that bid over and over again, year after year, and eventually they're going to understand your brand, they're going to see you, and the relationship is going to start to foster. And they're also going to recognize that you're consistent and persistent, but you're not overpowering them. You're not aggressive. You're just, at the time of the year, you send them the proposal. It's right in front of them. Your brand's there. They may exchange a phone call to you. You may exchange a phone call to them. But year after year, you keep doing that, you will break through and you will get these customers. And let me explain something to you. This unsolicited proposal right here for $625,000, that happens a lot. I have guys that tell me all the time they get them for 50, they get them for $250,000, they get them for 125,000. It only takes a few of those customers. One customer can change your life. 3 customers can change your entire family's life for the future. The bottom line is, guys, this is where the money is at. This is it. This is where it's at in reoccurring commercial work. I don't think one and dones. Don't call me and ask me about even a parking garage. It's funny because I'll mention this a little bit. I went out and I sold 2 parking garages within 2 weeks. Now, I'm not telling you you can do that. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of relationships. The bottom line is these are even reoccurring, and I'll show you guys that these people are only interested in reoccurring services, even for a parking garage. A lot of guys out there will tell you, oh, parking garages are one and done. They do them every 3 or 4 years. You get $100,000 or $300,000. There's some bad companies out there that only wash their garages every 3 years. But even the parking garage people now are understanding that in order to take care of the garage properly and not have the erosion and corrosion of the metal and things in the steel, in the concrete, they need to take care of these a little bit better. Cleaning them is part of the restoration process, not the actual restoration of the garage, but preventing a restoration from happening sooner than they need to. If they're cleaning the garages, they're cleaning all the salts and things in the garage out of the garage, because that's the number one thing that messes up the steel in the garages. These are things that you need to understand and know about what the pain points are for your customers. Lots of guys think it's all cosmetic. It's not. A lot of times it's safety, health, environment, slip and falls, things like that. They don't want these things on their property, and they understand that cleaning a property is going to be safer and more environmentally compliant, the whole 9 yards. And it's going to make the paint on the building last longer, better care for the concrete, better care for the windows. All the things that are on a property are going to be lasting longer, which in the end result will save them money in the long run. Guys, check it out. Ron Musgraves, nationalcleaningexpo.com. Check it out. You'll see where my next live event is. I think the next one coming up is going to actually wind up being in Phoenix in October. And then it'll be Charlotte first in September, then October, and then November we're going to be in Dallas, Texas. And in April, we're going to be in Chicago. Absolute, one of my favorite shows. Had a dynamite sales thing there. If there's anybody that's watching this from that show, chime in how you've been doing since you took the sales class live for 4 hours in Chicago. I'd love to hear how you're doing. Also, I do a Wednesday class. If anybody wants to be in on that, just chime in below and we'll get you in it. It's free, so don't worry about it. You want to come and learn more commercial strategies, more commercial tactics. That's what it's all about. Ron Musgraves, Pressure Washing Institute, Contractors First. We're out.